Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Chappell, philosophy professor at the University of Miami and lead author of An Introduction to Utilitarianism from Theory to Practice, which is also available free and open access online at utilitarianism.net. In previous videos, I introduced the moral theory of utilitarianism and the key concept of impartial beneficence. Today, I want to explore a second key concept for how we should live our lives, and that's the idea of effectiveness, really trying to get the most moral bang for our buck. And we can further break this down into the concepts of goal directedness and sensitivity to scale, really recognizing that numbers matter. So much of conventional ethics is concerned with how we react to events that impinge upon our lives. It's very passive. If we see a child drowning in a shallow pond, then that activates our sympathetic concern and we feel strongly motivated to help them. We think it would be morally monstrous to just watch them die. But few people feel so strongly motivated to actually seek out children whose lives are in danger and need help, who are out of sight. And that seems a shame. Children dying of malaria on the other side of the world are not inherently any less valuable than the children who enter your field of vision. They're also not inherently more difficult to help because thanks to effective global charities identified by givewell.org, we can actually very reliably donate money to save lives very cost effectively. So if we actually take saving lives or helping others as a moral goal, then that calls for a much more active engagement with moral life than people often imagine. Now, something I find fascinating about utilitarian theory is the way that our failure to live up to its recommendations can actually highlight quirks of human psychology that prevent us from doing good. We imagine distinctions between doing and allowing, between near and far, between novel emergencies and background harms from ongoing poverty. And these distinctions make a big psychological difference to us, what we care about and what we pay attention to. But they don't really make a moral difference to who deserves to live or die. So that disconnect between what's morally principled and how we actually think and behave really brings out how philosophy can challenge us. It's something to grapple with. We've seen that status quo bias is a major impediment to doing good in the world, that sort of passive rather than active approach to ethics. Another obstacle is our insensitivity to scale. So consider the famous quote often attributed to Stalin that a single death is a tragedy, a million deaths are a statistic. One study asked participants how much they'd pay to save 2,000 birds, and they asked others how much they would pay to save 10 times as many. The latter group's willingness to pay was not 10 times higher. In fact, it was lower. So people have no intuitive grasp of the moral significance of numbers. It's something we need to make a deliberate effort to consider because saving 10 times as many lives is 10 times better. Each life counts for one, and so more count for more if they're relevantly similar. And that may be the most important moral insight of utilitarianism. Now, I actually think that deliberate failures of effectiveness, doing less good than you could have, is at the same time a kind of failure of impartiality. When someone donates to an ineffective local charity, they're failing to treat as equal the interests of children on the other side of the globe who could have been helped much more. Similarly, when we disregard non human animals or future generations when helping them would be more cost effective. If you believe in the radical idea of moral equality, then you should also care about effectiveness. They go together. You should not want to neglect the interests of those who are merely out of sight. And you shouldn't think that being part of a large group of beneficiaries suddenly makes one individual member's interests matter any less. Everyone matters, and it all adds up. This is a big deal because some charities are thousands of times more cost effective at doing good than others. So it's worth making an effort to prioritize. Now, those are just some of the ideas that we explore in our book. You may well disagree with them, that's fine. But I hope you'll agree that the questions matter. The conclusions we draw from them make a big difference to how we should live our lives. So it's worth thinking about. Thanks for listening.